Hi and welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast and to this special episode, 2 years. I should have brought up some fun birthday head or something and do the boop, how they do for birthday parties. 2 years, 2 years. This is to commemorate and celebrate the anniversary of the podcast. So this episode is going to go differently. If this is the first time you see me, you hear me, you have no idea what this podcast is about, I would invite you to search through the episode list. You do not have to start from episode number 1. Definitely don't, unless you just want to have a good laugh. But just go and search for keywords. If your main struggle is meal times, bedtime, school, sibling jealousy, ADHD, whatever it is, just go and do a keyword search and start listening in that podcast episode. What we are going to do today is going to be an episode for fans and clients, everybody who's been listening for a while and you understand what this is all about. And you're curious. You're curious to take a helicopter with me to celebrate and look a little bit where we're coming from, what's happening now with Zen Supermom, and then I would love to spend most of this episode talking about what's coming up, because that's the exciting thing. And I believe in there are no coincidences. Whatever you believe in, God, universe, whatever higher power, I'm sure something like that exists. And I know that the moment I put my energy forward and I share what I believe in, what my passion is, and what I want to do next, it's going to come to me. And so this episode is actually going to be about speaking out the intentions. And I know that's what's going to bring it closer to making it happen. And because these intentions are not like egotistic, selfish, this is going to be really about the ripple effect of all this healing that we are having in the Zen Supermom community. So that's why I am so passionate about it and I cannot wait to share with you what's next. So if you're curious and if you want to celebrate the 2 years anniversary with me, let's go. Hi, I'm Elena and I'm a mommy tantrum specialist because I used to be specialist at yelling at my daughter daily. Now, 6 years fast forward, me and my team help busy, loving moms stop yelling, start setting healthy boundaries with natural consequences while staying calm so that the kids listen more. And one day when you look back at their childhood pictures, you will be able to feel at peace and happy with what a wonderful job you did. So that's what we do in this Zen Supermom podcast, helping you find out why none of these parenting techniques, not even anger therapy and counseling, is ever going to help you get there. You need to understand the root. Where is all of your uncontrollable anger coming from? That's what this podcast is about. So welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. So happy 2 years. This is the celebration episode for the Zen Supermom podcast. Let me start by saying thank you. I don't care if this is the second, third, or how many episodes you have heard already, how much you've listened to this podcast so far. I want to appreciate you. The fact that you keep coming back, that tells me how deeply you not only care about your kids, but how courageous you are, how much you understand that goes really way beyond you learning some parenting strategies, and most likely you have already started seeing how it impacts any area of your life. So this is why this episode is really for fans and for friends and for anybody who's ready to go deeper. And so that would not be possible without you. This podcast started really as a little attempt. I did my best. Me, the introverted girl who's too shy to speak up, who didn't even have Instagram, who was off of Facebook for 10 years before starting to do this work in general and helping moms heal with what I realized was the biggest breakthrough of my life when I became a mom, and I healed my anger and my not good enoughness and my stressed out, hyperachieving, go, do. When I realized that I'm not the only one, and I gave it a try, I gave it my best and started sharing so that all of these patterns that I see throughout all the conversations I was having with women who come to me for help, or the women who we have been already working with inside the Zen Supermom program, I started seeing the pattern. There were the same questions and I was answering them always, and I felt I'm repeating myself. I just wish there was a way how I could share with more people, because I can only imagine if there are so many women who find me, they keep asking me these questions. I can only imagine how many more women and men there are out there who still also need to hear the answers and who need to get the clues and start digging and start healing, really. So that's what the intention behind this podcast was. And I appreciate you. You keep listening, you keep giving me feedback, you keep letting me know how it helped you. You keep asking questions and giving me ideas and inspiration for more and more episodes. So thank you. I wouldn't be here today celebrating 2 years of the podcast if it was not for you. So I appreciate you. And wasn't it a fun ride, right? If you don't remember, if you were not there at the beginning, let me tell you, it was not so easy for a shy, introverted girl to go pick up a mic and start talking into it. That's why the first episodes of this podcast were actually audio only, because that was already difficult and challenging enough for me to keep my thoughts concise, don't go on too many tangents, don't get lost in the middle of all of this rich tapestry of all the things and connections I saw. Like, let's keep it more or less clean, perfectly imperfect, so that people understand what is the beginning, what is the end, and they get at least some lessons and value along the way. That was difficult enough to do on audio. So that's why the first episodes are audio only. Only later on, I think I made a podcast episode that was with video as well, because I wanted to share slides of what used to be an older version of the mommy tantrum training. So by the way, if you've never done any mommy tantrum training, you should go and get it. It's free. And it is much better than what it was back then, 2 years ago. I can promise you that, because I keep evolving and learning and keep making the information more digestible and more useful, more effective. So that's how we started having some video podcast episodes. But even then, I could see it on my YouTube channel, because on YouTube channel, podcast episodes, they come up not from the newest one, but the oldest one. And that's how I saw just a few days ago. I saw the beginning of one episode, which was one of the first ones when I started doing it on video. And it was me not even being able to talk to the camera. And I think I said it there, like, I can't look at the camera. I need to close my eyes and keep focused so that I keep the line of thought and I don't get distracted by watching myself on the screen. So, long story short, thank you so much for being with me, especially for those of you who have been with me since the beginning. I really appreciate you, and it's only thanks to your support and feedback, because that's what gave me the signs, that what gave me the proof that it's worth it. Even though I looked like a complete fool, but whatever that needed to come out of me, it was helping you. So that's why I kept going. So fast forward 2 years later, you can tell I'm having so much fun. I don't have any problem looking straight into the camera and straight looking to you, because it has become really part of my passion. And it's one of my favorite ways actually how to share. Because these bloody things keep coming up over and over again. Like, I still have moms who tell me, I have ADHD, my kids have ADHD, I don't know how to help them. So then I just say, I have a podcast episode. I don't have to spend half an hour now explaining to you and convincing you what it really is, that it's not an ADHD most of the times, that those are just symptoms. I can just tell them, go watch this podcast episode. Sibling jealousy, kids fighting, hurting you physically, bullying, meal times, bedtime, school time, whatever time, problems with your partnership, marriage. I can just tell them, yeah, I know it sucks. Go and listen to this podcast episode and then let me know what you get out of it. So I love it. And even though this is already episode 120, it just, the topics keep on coming and keep on popping up. We keep going deeper and deeper with it. So I appreciate you for being here for it. I appreciate you for letting me take you on the ride and just let's go. So In this podcast episode, I also wanted to give you a little bit like background and behind the scenes and to give you heads up about what's coming, because it is exciting. It is exciting. So first of all, in the coming months, the intention is to do it by the end of this year. There will be a private podcast edition. Not private in a sense of like, oh, now you want to make money on people's pain. Like, no, it will still be free, but it will be on registration only, because I want to have a way to reach back to you. Because right now I have no control over who's watching and who's listening and who's getting the feedback, who's getting the insights. There is no way for me to go back and check with you personally, because I don't know who you are in most cases. I don't have your email address. I don't know where you're watching, because this podcast is in so many social media platforms. There's no way for me to find out and reach you back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a private podcast that will be on registration only. And it will be for you if you are still sitting there not knowing, how the heck do I help my kids? Where do I need to start to heal my whatever it is that you're struggling with? Anger, resentment, frustration, stress, burnout. Usually there's something in you that prevents you from being able to react to your kids and connect with them in unconditional love in a calm way, without transferring all of that stress onto them and blaming them for your emotions. So that's what this podcast is going to be for, who this podcast is going to be for. Because I can only imagine if there was somebody who met me today and I told them about the podcast, and they will go look it up and they will see 120 episodes. They'll be like, ah! And I know there are some women who have, especially the controlling perfectionist childhood trauma, they want to start at episode number 1. And then I feel so sorry for them when they tell me, I'm already at episode 38. I'm working from number 1. And I'm like, oh no, please no, don't. You don't have to. Like, I appreciate you so much. You don't have to. You don't have to do that. Just look up the episode that speak to you. But I can imagine it's overwhelming, a list of 120. So that's why I want to do a subsection. I'm going to record new episodes, and it will be really for the women and men who want me to take them from the beginning, from where they are at, feeling the pain of not being able to make their kids listen, not being able to support their kids with their struggles in a calm, loving way. So I'm going to tell them in this private podcast, what is it that they need from the beginning till the end. Yeah, that's what this private podcast is going to be about. So maybe it's not for you because you already know, but then at least you can keep an eye on that. And once it's out, you can just send it away to all of your friends and family who you think they might need it, which is what I know many of you are already doing. Thank you so much. You are already like being the ambassador of the Zen Supermom method. I love it. And thank you for that. And that's what keeps me going, right? Because all of this is free. All of this is my free time. And I love it because this is the proof of value for me. If you're doing that without expecting anything back, just because it helped you so much and you feel like, oh my goodness, you need to know that because it will help you too. Like, that's what shows me that it is working. So I will keep going. This is the engine. This is the fuel that I need to be able to keep going. So thank you for that. That's what the private podcast will be about. So stay tuned for that. Now, next year, the next exciting thing is that for the first time ever, we will not have only our in-house Zen Supermom and Zen Superdad coaches. I'm no longer be recruiting them from the trauma school where I graduated, but we are now having a first set of clients who have gone through the Zen Supermom program, who have gone the whole journey from being totally like, what do I do next, into going into their healing, applying the method that I teach and coach. And it made so much impact on their lives that they decided to actually change their career and become a trauma coach themselves. And so then I keep the door open to them and I invited them to the team. And I told them, well, actually, as soon as you get certified, as soon as you get enough training and experience under your belt, I'm happy to take you inside the team, keep you coaching and keep mentoring you so that then we can start giving you the clients and you can start working with women and you can start helping them and healing them. So this will be the first time ever next year, fingers crossed, that we will have healed moms who know exactly, they know the firsthand how hard it was They got the help and healed. Now they're getting certified and they will be helping other moms. So what a beautiful cycle. What a beautiful ripple effect. What a beautiful healing snowball we are creating here. So I'm extremely excited about that. Moreover, even then longer term, beyond next year, beyond 2025, it makes me very excited then, because as I need to keep doing what I preach and teach, life threw another curveball at me when I found out that they are actually going to close down that trauma school where I trained and where all of my coaches are getting trained now and certified. They are going to close it down. They are going to close down that program. So then I started thinking, well, oh shoot. So now what? I will have a team. My team will keep growing now, especially with this new cohort of of trainers, of coaches. So that's good. We are good for a few years, but I'm not here to be doing this just for the next 2, 3, 4 years. This is my life's work. I honestly believe that. We need to keep growing. I need to keep training people. But if that school is not going to help me with that, well then maybe I need to start preparing. And rather than seeing it as oh shoot, so now I need to think about creating a trauma certification program. I have no experience in that. I have experience helping people, but training people to be able to help others, I have no experience with that. So this is where I decided to apply what I teach and preach and coach, and be okay with not knowing for now, because this is not a problem for today or for tomorrow. This is a problem for the next 3, 4 years. And so until then, what I'm just getting more and more clear on, and this is really also why I wanted to speak it out, so that I kind of bring it out in the universe, so that it can start rippling already and it can start bringing it closer to me faster. The intention will be for me to set up my own certification, Zen Supermom Coach, certified. What that it's going to do, I'm decided to turn the challenge into opportunity. So rather than feeling totally in panic and overwhelmed, how the heck I'm going to do that and figure that out in a few years from now, I decided to see it as an opportunity, because the good news is what that trauma school is doing now, it's very wide and broad. So all of my coaches who are trained, that's why they're so amazing, and I love it. And also, I know that those who come and work with me, then using my methods, they do not need 100% of what they learned, because they're learning so much more. In the essence of what we are really practicing here, the tools we are teaching our clients to use, it's maybe 10% of all the techniques we are taught. So yes, while they need all the basics about how to be a coach, how to be a safe coach, how to not get triggered, that is, of course, all extremely important. But then when it comes to specific trauma healing methods, and when we speak specifically about generational developmental trauma healing, which is what we are talking here, by the way. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go back to the Mommy Tantrum training. I'm not going to explain it here, but you need to understand. But for that, there is only 3, 4, maximum 5 specific methods that they are teaching in the trauma program. Out of, I think there are 27 methods they are teaching. My coaches don't need all of that. They don't. So what I'm going to do, my plan to the universe, I'm going to get a license for these few that we need absolutely. They're so powerful because we can do it in a few sessions and our clients are healed. What they couldn't heal in 20 years of talk therapy, we do it in 5 sessions, thanks to these methods. So I'm planning to get copyright or whatever registration mark, whatever approval I need to be able to keep using these methods and start training it. Because then what I'm going to train my new coaches on is not going to be just these trauma methods. I'm going to train them at the same time for the mental fitness. Because if you know anything about what we are doing inside the Zen Supermom program and why this healing is so powerful and so quick, so fast, it's because we are not just doing one-on-one childhood trauma healing. We are combining it with mental fitness, literally the brain science to rewire your brain. beyond mindfulness. This is not just about count till 10, do half an hour meditation, you'll be fine. No, you will not. You need to rewrite your brain to go away from those trauma coping mechanisms like inner critic, hyperachiever, perfectionist, controller. Like that needs to be rewired through doing a set of specific exercises. Right now, my coaches cannot do that because they are not trained in that. So they are doing trauma healing and I am doing the mental fitness and bringing it together for the clients. So that's why I am spending a lot of time inside the program. Now, the opportunity I have here that I'm planning to take full advantage of is once all the training is up to me anyways, I am going to give that opportunity to our healed clients because firsthand they experienced how powerful that is, applying these techniques. And then those who will want, Zen Supermom Academy, how about that? They will go, whatever name I give it, but they will go and get my training. I'm going to train them on how to apply these few trauma techniques. I will give them the full stack of them being able to become trauma coaches, but I'm going to train them in being able to coach and work out the mental fitness piece in it as well. So that I don't have to spend so much time with each and every single client, which will help us expand and teach that even wider. Because this, and that's why I'm sharing all of this background with you, because my ultimate intention is to bring this healing down to communities and bring it down to people who cannot even afford to pay for that. I would love for teachers to be trauma informed and to know these methods so that not only they stop yelling at the kids they have in their classroom, but they can even help them and help some of the kids heal the trauma that their parents are causing them. I would love to bring it to doctors, and I would love to bring this especially to young adults before they get married, before they choose the wrong partner, before they get into toxic abusive relationship and then they have 2-3 kids with the narcissistic abuser and the generational pattern keep going. Yeah. So in order to be able to do that, I need to not only heal more people, but also then train more people who are able to do this method and find sponsors and find programs, start up probably some non-profit organization or volunteering organization where we would be getting money and sponsors so that we could bring this type of healing to communities where people cannot afford it. But this is the only way how to break the generational trauma, giving it to younger people before they have kids, before they start giving them the same trauma. Yeah. So that's the bigger mission of the program. That's where we are going with it. So I have no idea how, don't ask me how. This is just me speaking out the intention to the universe and letting the universe bring me closer to the resources, people, ideas, techniques on how we can make that happen. Because once you get closer to it, once you start working on this, healing yourself, and if you already did that, you get me, right? You understand. This is so much bigger than just you not being a yelling mom anymore, or a dad, or yelling mom, or frozen, emotionally numb, avoidant dad. That's who we usually work with, right? Moms are yelling it out and dads are closing it inside and escaping. The type of healing we are talking about here goes much deeper than that. Once you get started, you will understand it actually impacts your entire life. And it starts impacting your whole environment, not just your kids and your little family, but all of your relationships outside. And you start being the light and not just the example, like to have a big ego. Oh, no, I'm so good and I feel worthy. I feel good enough. And you don't. Nah. But you start being positive example and you start having much more compassion for people who are still struggling. If not being able to help them directly by helping, like doing something for them, at least you are the inspiration for them. Not the fake Instagram pretending everything is great while behind the closed door it's all mess and pain. But being the true living, breathing, loving example of what is possible. And I honestly believe that the more people like this we have in this world who are stopping the generational trauma rather than perpetuating and causing pain and drama everywhere they go, that's really the only way how to cause any change in this world. If we talk then in general, there is still so much struggle, so much pain in this world. People are being abused. They are being victims of so much pain. And I believe that the only way, rather than sitting here watching the news and getting depressed and frustrated and thinking, how can I be happy when there's so much war and there's so much abuse and there's so much pain people are causing to each other, that wouldn't help anybody. The way how I choose to go about it is to go and do something about it by healing the people I can reach, because I know then they will keep healing and they will keep shining the light and love, and they will make it much more likely to spread that out. This is how we individually, all of us, can contribute. Rather than being upset and feeling so frustrated and depressed by how horrible the world is today, which, yeah, no kidding, no joke, there are a lot of problems. But the only thing that makes sense to focus your energy on is cleaning up your contribution to it, because it starts in our homes, so that then your kids are not the ones who are going to keep bringing pain to others, their loved ones. And you can start bringing that healing and light and inspiration to everybody who you touch as you go through your life. Okay? This is what I believe is worth it. That's why I'm still here spending my time, and that's why I'm talking to you. And that's why I'm so excited for anyone who would listen. Like, let's go on this journey together, shall we? And it's not to believe like we are better than anybody else. We are not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to call myself like a savior, to put myself on a pedestal. This has nothing to do with ego. If nothing, then what I learned on my personal journey is that I'm not perfect, and it's okay. I will never be. I made peace with that. And there will be haters and people pointing fingers. I'm okay with that. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I'm not doing this to feel good about myself, like that this is my mission and look how amazing I am. I'm not doing this for that. I'm doing this because I really feel it. And if you've been part of it, you feel it too. There's this deeper level of satisfaction when you actually see the ripple effect of it and you feel touched. That your healing made it possible for somebody else to feel seen, heard, and loved unconditionally. And once you get a taste of it, how it feels to make somebody feel seen, heard, and loved, be it your kids, be it your partner, be it your friend, like that feeling, that's what I'm after. And as many people as I can give it to, and show you how you can do that and how you can spread that out, the more the better, really. Because this is something inexplainable that I was not even planning to go here in this podcast episode, but it came out. This is the feeling of being connected. That you feel you're literally touching somebody's life and changing it forever. This is the power you have to. You can do that. Once your own trauma and your own pains and your own experiences that are not integrated yet, once all of that is gone and you put all of those pieces of you that you chipped off along the way because you felt not good enough, once you put it all back together, perfectly imperfect, and then you can go out there and really tune into other people and make them feel heard and seen and loved and give them the taste of how it feels to be loved fully, accepted for who you are right now. You don't have to change a thing. That's like the sweetest thing, isn't it? When you feel it, when you feel that way, that it's true for you, then you can go out there and help others get a taste of how that feels for them. And that's what I'm here to do. And so that's going to be the future of this podcast. That's going to be the future of the Zen Supermom program. This is where we are going. To be able to help more and more people to feel that way. To go back to themselves. To feel like you arrived, you're back home. This is who you were born to be. This was your birthright to feel this way. That you're worthy, you're loved and accepted for who you are, exactly the way you are right now. That's my intention for you too. So, thank you. Thank you again. I started this episode by thanking you, and I will finish it by thanking you. I couldn't do it alone. You are part of this mission, and that speaks volume about you. That tells me a lot about you already. So I look forward to continuing this journey. Thank you for being part of it. I appreciate you. Why can't you stop yelling at your kids? And no, it's not the stress, lack of sleep, kids not listening, fighting, hitting, no support, time pressure, ADHD, hormones. No, moms around the world are doing it regardless. How? Join us for the upcoming Mommy Tantrum training and find out too.